person who has inventory wins because, if you don't have it and you do have it, the person who does has it can sell it, but y'all have a bunch of inventory. Tell me about
Yeah,
the
so
freaking
we gotta.
stress of that.
Yeah, it's there's no doubt about it. It's not saying I'm losing sleep, but there's some sleepless hours somewhere here and there,
I mean,
due
it's
to
like when you walk into work every day and you're looking at all of this inventory, it's got to be stressful to think, guys, I'm not collecting this shit. We're selling it. So get to
Well,
work.
yeah, I just have the faith that, my message and who I am and how we run our company just gets out there more because I've always treated people straight up and fairly. And,
Yep.
I think that's kind of part of my nature. I'd rather help companies to the next level or even learn a little bit more
Sure.
so than, because I always figured the product sales would be there. The one thing that I would say, gosh, in the last 8 years, it's just changed, what the industry is and who has product, who doesn't. And it seems like everybody wants to sell stuff, which is great. I think that's the American way. But it's like there's no association saying, okay, this should be priced this and this should be
Yeah.
priced that. And just like anything else, we're still relying on freight costs. We're still relying on productive cost and not alone on just shipping it out somewhere. I mean, the freight companies win all the time.
Well, the thing that like you and I were talking about recently, but it's like, with the inflation, every product is going up except Christmas lights. Christmas lights, for some reason, we're seeing trends that it's going against what normal products are doing. Normal products, inflation is taking everything up. Services are up. To hire somebody, everything is going up. The cost of living is up. But Christmas lights in some cases are going down. It's like, you're like scratching your head thinking, where's the terms and conditions? And you look at the big companies and it's like, not only are we selling to the big box stores and stuff, now we're selling to installers and turning them into distributors. But that could be a freaking mess if you don't have terms and conditions. And tell
Yeah,
me about the importance of
there's got to
that.
be exactly. You got to be set with some expectations on both sides anytime you go into any agreement, because you got to look at it as what's the long term play, not the short term of a sale.
Right.
You got to look at anybody can go sell something if you get enough conversation and understand like, hey, and you can obviously if you bring the price way down, everybody's like, well, here's the price, you take it or leave it. But
Sure.
I also think that terms and conditions are an expectation for long term growth from both sides.
Because at some point you say, let's say it's $1 for a light bulb. I mean, everyone knows the cost of a light bulb. The rest of the stuff, pretty much falls in line with that. But if it's $1 a light bulb, and then you take it all the way down, so you're barely even making anything, and it's like, where does it stop? I mean, I don't see a finish line here without, companies they're working on such small profit margins. I mean, I just don't see the finish line with the race to the bottom. But that's what our industry is doing, and I mean, where do
Yeah.
you see it going in 5 years if it keeps at that
Well,
pace?
at this rate, I think it's just going to be, you call about the commodities, right? And it's like commodity trading, and
Sure.
that's what happens. But there's usually an industry standard where someone really starts looking at their numbers and going, why am I selling at this low?
Yeah.
Because the market can bring, even if we talk about a bulb, it can bring 10 cents more, and you can make 10 cents more a bulb. All you have to do is just, if from a distributing standpoint, just market it better and talk to your clients better.
Sure.
No matter what, if we think about this industry, it doesn't really matter what you pay for it. It comes down to your presentation and your sales experience and your sales presentation to be able to sell anything that you have as a decorator.
Yeah. That's another thing too. Is a lot of people who don't know, they'll say, "Well, how much is that?" You know what? I'm buying $20,000 worth of stuff, so therefore I should be taken seriously. And I'm just going to buy directly from China. There's a lot of people who think that, and you know, and they're right. You probably can get a better deal buying from China, but what risk do people, potentially expose themselves to by, buying directly from China? Because it's not just you go to Alibaba and click a button. There's more to it than that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of I've talked to a lot of horror story clients in the past, and they're talking about 30, 40, $80,000 containers never showed up, but the money's gone. And now there's a lot of different agencies that will have all these reps that email out. It's almost like a call center for that side. You got to imagine you really got to do a lot of investigating and work to decide which factory you're going to work with. And you got to make sure you're working with a factory, not just at a
A
trading company,
broker.
a broker. And they're making their 5 to 10% or 15%. Then you got your product costs, and then they got their margin markup. Now you can get it cheap, and there's a lot of people shipping stuff over that are not tariffed. I don't know how they can do that. There's a lot of shadiness on that side, but the one thing when you think about going direct, I would actually work with, one of the companies you've been buying from and say, hey, I want to go buy a container. What's my container pricing? And then you got the backing of the warranty with that product going in from working with a U.S. company. And that's the kind of the things that I think I know for me, if I was young and wanted to kind of do that, and if I got to that level, I want to make sure I'm getting backed. I just don't want to have a container show up and there's no support.
Well, you don't want like a whole container of bullshit to show up, and then you
Yeah,
can't
and
sell
that,
it
yeah.
because that one don't work, and this one's a different color warm white than last year, and you're like, oh my gosh, now I have to frickin' sell this, and I wouldn't buy it myself if I seen it, but I have to, sell this, and that's not a situation that anybody wants to get in. That's why they want to deal with someone who knows what the hell they're
No, I
talking
mean,
about, right?
it's not like any supplier, even HBL, Holodynamics, anybody out there, Lights for Christmas. We're on the phone a lot with our suppliers and getting samples and making sure things are getting done right. And I think that's what goes into just the industry, that sometimes everybody, that's not saying that as a bad way of saying it, but who's just doing installing and running the company and don't know that side. They don't know what it takes to get a company off the ground, like, and as well as even maintain that product consistency.
Mhm. So you were like, let's go back to high school, man. Because we always like to go back to high school. You were
Yeah.
like the star athlete, or what's going on there?
I
Come
was
on.
pretty decent, but it was, like I said, I was,
Decent. I thought I heard you were like like the jock. Everybody wants to be cool like you. Is that what the deal was?
yeah, I don't, Ron, you got to know me too much. I'm more of the humble guy. I'm never going to really try to
Yeah,
take,
yeah.
but I can hold my own on a lot of different sports. It's
Oh,
just,
okay. Yeah. That sounds politically correct. Yeah. What else is going on here? So you own not just are you the owner of Lights for Christmas?
yeah. So I am one of the owners. So I have an investing group that helps me get this off the ground.
And that
We're the
thing, that freaking warehouse is the biggest one in Omaha, or what's it? Is that
Yeah,
right?
it's 55,000 square feet with 44-foot ceilings. I have about almost,
55,000.
yeah, so I have about 4,800 pallet positions, if you think about that.
Jesus, is it so? It's like pretty much like a Home Depot or something, right? Or
Yeah, it's pretty decent size. Yeah.
golly, dude.
Got
God.
12 docks ready to ship, anytime.
That's got to be. I
Ready to go.
mean, jeez. I mean, just going in there, you're like, there has to be something going in and out of the door every day to have. I mean,
Yeah.
that's got to be a bill and a half just to keep the lights on. No.
It is,
Yeah.
and that's just like anything else, just like everybody, from all levels of our businesses, we always work on cash flow,
Jeez.
And so we knew that just going into it wasn't going to be right away that we're going to see a positive cash flow, but we know that from a long-term standpoint on our vision,
Yeah.
we're going to see that, and
Hell
it
yeah.
just takes time.
Yeah. It's not gonna be. It's no overnight success situation here.
No, I mean, there's no red button, and I just won the lottery. I wish I could do that, but
Yeah. And if you won the lottery, would you spend it on Christmas lights?
I would. I'd
You
probably
like,
go buy some companies out.
yeah, you're like, hey, I'm
Sell
the
that
captain now.
acquisition.
I'm the captain. But not only do you do distribution, which I'm sure if like every hair that you have is damn near gray now from distribution, but on installs, y'all have Heroes. That's one of the biggest companies in the area, right?
Yeah, so we have Heroes Lawn Care, and then we had Heroes Holiday Lighting, but we just switched that over to Blingle
Okay.
for
Oh,
an
so
Amazon
that's what
name.
switched to Blingle.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the holiday lighting portion of our Heroes, or I say Blingle now. I'm still preference to Heroes Holiday
Sure.
Lighting, but
Yeah.
I think we'll eclipse over 2 million this year on that side of our
$2
business.
million. dollars.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's just the holiday lighting part of that place
Yeah,
that's in
so we do
Omaha.
holiday lighting, and we'll do, I think holiday lighting about 1.6. Everything else is from events and permanent lighting as well as landscape lighting. And we're starting to expand on those other, year rounds because we got a full team year round on. We got 2 sales guys, we got GM, we got 4 techs year round on that side.
What's your ownership over there at Blingle?
So yeah, it's me and another partner. We're 50-50.
So you're right there, yes.
Yeah.
And then the Blingle, I mean, God, the freaking advertising and the videos and stuff. I mean, I've seen there's one that's local to me, and I've seen the trucks wrapped up going down the road and bling like Facebook advertisements. You know, like if you people in the country, you see whatever's local for you, but for me, I see it all over the place. And I even go to the freaking restaurant, and there's a Blingle truck in there, and I'm like, damn, that's Marlow? Damn, I mean, like, you're like all over the damn place, man.
It's part of me. I can't take all the credit. Obviously, you know, it's one of those. It took our company's model, and then we emphasize a lot of other new things to it. They got a really good the franchise company that we merged with. Just have a phenomenal team to kind of build that model out there. Now, granted, as you know, and I hope everybody else listening knows, I can't do all this. So that's why
of
you got to
course.
support yourself with really good, smart people.
There's no I in team, but there is me in team, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Blingle, what's the deal with Blingle? Like, what do you think 5 years looks like? I mean, is this like you already have what was it, 30, 40 locations?
We're up to 54 now.
54 locations. I mean, there's only 50 states, right? Am I right?
Yeah, but there's a lot more cities. So
you have multiple locations in different cities.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's just a basic franchise territorial side. You know.
What do you get with that? Is that for the Christmas and the landscape lighting and for
the permanent lighting and the event lighting?
So you're putting them in the business for everything.
Yeah, because
I see.
One of the things I've learned years ago teaching so many companies is that if you really want to learn lighting, you really should look at all aspects of lighting to monetize it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm blown away when I see it because I'm just a small potato, you know what I mean, in Houston trying to do our thing, and we're trying to do marketing and whatever's free. We're just trying to market ourselves. I've never paid $1 for advertising, nothing, ever, never. Not a Facebook, nothing, not a Google ad, nothing. And we've been doing pretty well, but then you see some of the big boys and you're like, how much money do you have to spend in advertising to get your name out like that? I mean, what's it like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 advertising budget, or how much is it?
I think if anything, even if I look at our Omaha branch, Omaha and Lincoln branch that I own, I mean, our budget for the lawn care side as well as that, I think it's close to 80 to 90 or 100,000.
100,000. That's just for like online marketing.
It's online. We're doing print. There's a lot of things there's a lot more. I'm just saying encompass. But I think with anybody, and if I was going to go out and say, hey, Ron, what should you do for your money? If you say you had $5,000 a month or even $2,000, I would put a good portion of that into your social media. I'd go after the Facebook ads, as well as then I'd do a little bit of PPC to stay relevant. And then I would just work on the back SEO in the off season on my website. So it's really cranking.
Who do you guys use?
We use a lot of different companies. Actually, I'm talking to a new company called Rev Loco.
Yeah, I've dealt with them. They're in Ohio or something.
Yeah, and I've worked with a lot of different companies. You really just got to make sure that if you're going to get into that, they have a system to tell you what they're doing every month, and then you review with them every month. And as a business owner, you got to take it serious.
Yeah.
You can't just think that I'm just the leads are coming in, because I think that's where we can waste a lot of money. But I still think the old school way of putting yard signs out, I know it sounds cliche.
It works better than anything I've seen.
It works. You can target a certain part of the town and it'll roll.
So you got those $20, $30 yard signs, right? I seen them nice yard signs you have out there.
Well, we used to do them all.
I was like, that's got to be what, $10 yard signs? I mean, or at least $4 yard signs, right?
Yeah,
or am I wrong?
I would say if you're going to be in our business, it's all about visual. So you got to make sure you spend a little extra money for the right sign.
Yeah,
I've driven by signs and you can't.
Where are you getting the signs from? If you don't mind me asking.
Actually, I don't even know off the top of my head.
Somewhere, I mean, they're like super nice. And when I drove by and I was showing Laura, I said, "Look at that! That's a Blingle sign," because we're putting out signs, and of course, you know how it is. Like, you
Yeah.
have your stop sign wars, you know what I mean, with
Mhm.
or stoplight
Oh
wars
yeah.
where there's like five other companies and you play nice, and then as Christmas is getting closer and closer, you're like, just take the other sign and put mine in there, you know. Isn't
Right.
that how it works?
Well, like I said, I've heard of people do it. I've never
You've
done
never
that.
done that.
No, because I just look at it. It's like bad karma sometimes if
Yeah.
you think about it, because it's like,
Well, they start
they're
taking
out
yours
there
first is
making
how it
effort.
starts, right?
I just like it when someone mows and then they put the yard sign back in. I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
It's,
or hey Ron, the HOA said they're going to fine me if I have this sign out. I'm not allowed to, so I'll just put it out on the weekends. And you're like, oh, okay. I thought they were going to throw it away, but that works better.
have
But
you ever worked with Nextdoor app or anything like that?
yes, Nextdoor used to be great. I think it was probably one of the better ways of us getting leads is through Nextdoor, and
Right.
then they turned it into where they started monetizing it, and now I think it's kind of lost its a little bit of its value monetizing it. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
filled up with commercials and shit now, so I think a lot of people are getting out of it.
Yeah, because I know
Nextdoor,
like
y'all do a
that's where
lot
you
of
get the
Nextdoor?
Facebook. No, I never did. I was always, we never really had to, but it was always something if I was looking at that as an option down the road.
When the customers would put something on Nextdoor, man, you would get more benefit from, hey, how did you hear about us? You know, and you say, well, I heard you on Nextdoor. It's like, damn, more people find us on Nextdoor than Google. And then all of a sudden, how do you hear about us? It's always Google or it's Facebook groups. I think
Yeah,
that one's probably the best.
The Facebook groups are the way to go. Now, one thing that I would also say too, if anybody wants to look in their local area,
Hmm.
it's called Up Influence. It's basically
Up
your
influence.
localized influencers, where you can do Up Influence, and what that does is that you can actually reach out to them. Sometimes you might just say, "Hey, let me go decorate your house." You give me three positive posts behind it, but they're the ones that might have, let's say, 3,000 to 10,000 localized followers, like single moms or different things that they do. And that we did that a couple we still continue to do it, but last year it turned out really good where we got some
Really?
really good projects out of it.
Huh. Wow.
And all we have to do is go decorate our house, and which is not a big deal, if you think about advertisement, and then you got
Yeah.
somebody posting and then send a nice review on your site. That's the way to roll.
Hey, tell me about commercial because when you start out, you're doing residential, right?
We
But
do both, yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
you try to do commercial, but you don't want the guy sitting around doing nothing, so you put residential in there. Most people do. But tell us about how do you get the commercial clients? Because I've heard Jason Guyman, I've heard like a bunch of people,
Yeah.
and they do shows like every single night. I mean, he's doing twice a week. He's saying, "Here's how to get
Yeah,
commercial clients."
he's a busy man. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's
One
putting
of the
himself
bit.
out.
I don't know how he does it, man, but hats off to
Yeah,
him. But
yeah.
how would be Mike Marlow's opinion of how someone would secure commercial clients if you're a small time person with a low advertising budget? How do you get commercial clients?
Well, first of all, you don't need any budget at all to get commercial going,
None.
because it's all about get out of the car and talk to somebody. And the one thing in sales, in anybody, they get to a building and like, all right, what am I going to say? Just get in there and just talk, because like you can go any shopping center, strip mall, bank.
I thought you were gonna say strip club. I was like, strip
Yeah, I was
club.
getting. No, I didn't go that
No,
route.
any
But
bank, strip club, whatever.
it was like you go to these accounts and just go, look, you can walk in and hey, is the manager here? Said, I want to know who owns this building, who manages this building, and it might be a management company or it might be somebody internal. And then you just start talking. Says, this is what I do. I'm a professional holiday lighting expert in
You don't
this
say
area.
Christmas?
No, I always say holiday just to kind of, it's just more politically correct sometimes. You're not sure how people see it.
Yeah,
Because sometimes I want other holidays to get done where maybe they
like
need something like
Halloween.
Halloween, 4th of July, Valentine's Day, whatever. But so I always got into
Well,
that.
especially if
No,
you're doing permanent lighting, you're like it's for multiple different holidays,
different seasons, sporting,
seasons.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I was even back in the day when I had my first business and I was just on my own with a truck and a small 5x8 trailer. I saw the value in just going in and networking myself as a person. So I'd go and go to the chamber meetings. I would sponsor one of those lunches and talk in front of them. Things lit up around me, and it just became yeah, I became that lighting person for that town I was in. So
So you go to the HOA meetings,
now I meant the chamber meetings, not the HOA.
Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, Chamber of Commerce, your apartment associations, there's restaurant associations, there's a lot of different things out there nowadays
Hmm.
to get your word out there. And that doesn't cost you anything, and then maybe being a part of a chamber, then you market to that chamber because you're
Sure.
like, hey, I'll do this and you through their services.
Yeah.
But
I seen this one, my buddy Riley, he's got this great idea. What he does is he goes to these HOAs and he offers to bring, they have like their meetings once a month. He donates donuts and coffee for the meeting,
right.
and then they allow him to give a little pitch with his donuts and coffee. So that's how he goes into all these HOAs, and he's actually turned his commercial business up like 40% click.
Dude, I love that.
Donuts and coffee. It's like, geez, I never would have thought that. He goes, yeah, I just call them up. I offer all the food and lunch for them for their meeting, and then they let me talk for 10 minutes. And, these HOA managers actually usually manage like 15 different properties. So as soon as you
Right.
get into one, it turns into, especially after you do a good job, it may take multiple seasons of proving yourself, and then also coupled with having a bad experience with someone else. But if you mix all that together, man, that's how October, no residential, all commercial, 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays, I would say that if you're in the business for 3 years or so, you're actually decorating more jobs in October to open up more new jobs for
Yeah.
residential. Because like I know we start our commercial side, which is pretty extensive in September. So
Hell yeah, dude. All right, what else you want to talk about, man? I know you got your blingle, you got your lights
yeah.
for Christmas. What's new, dude? What do people not know about Mike Marlow?
Well, one of the things, obviously, for me, I'm always an added value kind of person. I want to see everybody succeed in the industry.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I'm working with Warrior of Lights, I'm actually creating a leads.
Warrior for Lights,
Yeah, Warrior of Lights, yeah.
Jason,
Yeah, it's James Whelan.
James.
So working with him, and so we're creating a leads program similar to what's out there. You pay for a lead, but we want to make sure they're qualified. You have a nice dashboard to be able to kind of monitorize everything, and then you can even use it as a small CRM if you needed to. There's that. I'm resurrecting my old designer app I had at HBO.
Resurrecting.
Let's
Yeah.
just say I'm
In the
just
name
taking
of Christmas, I say
knowledge
rise
in my
up.
head that it was already there, and now I'm redoing it again.
Yeah, I don't know if it's resurrecting. I think it's resuscitating.
Yeah, is that way? Yeah, just like give it a breath or two.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what, so you're
and
getting some
then
leads. So those are just for like, I mean, it's like, look, I can sell materials. You can buy materials. You can buy them from anybody. There's like 100
yeah,
people selling them, but I'm offering something above and beyond that. I have leads, or I have my experience. I don't think a lot of people understand the experience that you have of running these big ass companies, or just
no,
knowing how they work behind the scenes and just running
uh,
employees nationally. It's a big thing.
well, one of the things too, and I think some of the newer companies I've been talking to in the last couple of months, because everybody starts coming out of the woodwork around June or July, right?
Sure.
And they start to realize that, like, I can pretty much answer 99% of the questions that asked to me, and it doesn't matter if it's a twinkly product to somebody else's product, or maybe I got to push them over to Luke Jensen because I don't do that.
Look,
I don't mind. It's not like I'm going to try like, oh, I got to make it all. No, because I
yeah.
can't. But I do want them to be successful. So, but I think ultimately where it comes down to is I've trained a lot of companies, big and small, across this country, and I continue to do that. And I just take that right approach as a business owner talking to another business owner.
Interesting. Yeah, I had another question for you. What was I going to ask you? Like salesmen. When
Mhm.
you're working at a place where salesmen work, like you're a sales manager, if you will. I mean, I know there's different titles, but you're in charge of salesmen. These salesmen are typically alpha males. I mean, who's the best salesman that you ever trained or worked with?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, I'm sure
There's
there's been a bunch of them over the years, right?
Yeah, there has, and there's been some flops too. So I know that, but I'm not going to bring that, But I
Well,
also,
the salesman, like, there's a season for sales. Like you're in your prime. because you're just a bad mofo and you're just getting better and better every year. But there's also a season in your life where it's just a perfect storm for you to sell. Whether you have confidence, your personal life is going good, and then sometimes people fall off, these trends where they trend down and trend up. But in an upward click, who's the best that you think you've ever been associated with
I
or
don't know
worked
if
with?
I could even, the team I put together over at HBO has done a phenomenal job.
And there's still a lot of people still there, huh?
Yeah, no, Dave, Anthony, and Brian. They're all, they're all good friends.
Beaudry?
They're all good friends of mine before they became part of HBO. I'm the one that kind of recruited them in. I would say between those three, each one has their own uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
Even Greg as well, throwing his name in there too. Everybody
You're
has a
talking about
different.
Greg Schultz is one of the best
Greg
salesmen you ever
Schultz,
met?
Yeah, Greg Schultz.
Fake news.
Yeah,
Now,
funny.
we've only talked to Greg Schultz one time. He's the Texas
He's
rep.
got a big territory. He's spread pretty
Yeah,
thin.
yeah, I would say. But
But I think that I would say the quickest learner of anything that I've had in this industry.
what's that guy's name? Anthony? He lives over
Anthony.
here by me, I think.
Yeah, so
He's
handled,
HBL, right?
yeah, so he was working at the Perfect Light for
Yeah,
many
no, I
years.
talked to him at Transworld. That dude, I've met a lot of salesmen. That dude's sharp, dude.
No, he's very sharp. And one thing about like that, he's also got a good backbone, so he's not afraid to kind of like ask the right questions rather than just be accepting of it. And like I said, it's hard for me to put any top tier because everybody has good attributes all the way around that I've worked with.
Sure.
I would just leave it at that. And
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a good question now, because I
game.
was thinking when I was a salesman, I was a sales manager at AT&T, at one point. But everyone's always like, when you start at a sales position, the first, if you really worth your weight in salt, you'll say, who's the best person here? I want to know that, and then you'll say, oh, well, it's Bill over here or whoever. Then you're saying, well, how much are they selling or what are they doing? And then you set your goal on that's where you want to get.
Yeah,
Everyone does that, right? And so when you're going through there and then you're thinking, as a boss, sometimes these salesmen, you're thinking, I think I can kick his ass, right? Or I think I can beat him. And then you're like in there trying to compete with them to show them that you belong being the boss and you're a better salesman than the people that work for you. But some of these really up and coming stars surprise you. You're like, damn, they might be a better salesman than me.
Yeah, I still think when you talk about a sales team, no matter who's leading it, and I still think you got to take it as a team approach.
Yeah.
Just no different than if we're 5 people playing basketball. You still got to work as a team. And
True.
There's going to be some that can shoot from the outside and some can dunk on the inside. But it's the same way as somebody really might know RGB lighting very well, but the other person really knows Christmas trees very well.
Oh, I see.
So you really kind of hone in on what their best traits are to create a formidable team to kind of help any question that comes into your group.
I see. What was the other question I had? So softball. I've never played like slow pitch softball, but apparently it's a big thing. And there's few people I've met in my life, you or be one of them, that you're going all over the country playing softball. I mean, this is something serious, right? Tell me about that.
It's kind of I've been doing it since high school, after baseball.
I mean, this is like, is there like a age group or something on
No,
this?
this one's an age group. I used to be on travel balls a lot.
Don't tell me it's the senior citizen group.
I'm over 50.
The over 50 fun club.
Yeah, give me my AARP card. Put it in. hate to kind of show my age that way.
Yeah,
but,
you're like,
but
get all these young kids off
weird.
the team. I'm just wanting the 50 and up,
Yeah.
I'm hitting home
So
runs here.
Yeah, so I coach and sponsor a team, about 20 some people that are all my age or a little older or younger.
You sponsor the team.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I seen on Facebook, you had like a whole trailer and the whole thing. It was
we
like
did a
wrapped
whole
out.
trailer, and the guys are really bought in. We went out and won a big tournament in Phoenix last November, and that's kind of one of the top tournaments to win each year. So we won it. So we're getting ready to go to Denver in August. We'll go back to Vegas. We'll do Phoenix and try to see if we can repeat. And then we'll play probably
Vegas.
8-10 tournaments, man. So
What's up? Who's doing your trailer wrappings? Or who's doing your wrapping?
it's Autographics here in town. They did a good job. I had a good relationship with them.
Are they
prior.
affordable?
There, yeah, that I think that trailer wrap, because it was a pretty big. It was like 43 to 4,800, give or take,
For the whole thing. But
for the
you know,
whole.
I'm trying to do a few things for rapping, but then they're like, "Well, I need the graphics and this and this." You're like, "Okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me out with it?" And getting
Yeah,
someone to help you out with the graphic part, that was I went through like 4 or 5 companies here locally and couldn't figure it out. And I
yeah.
was
So
like,
you can just
"Who's
get a
doing this?"
template of the deal, and then you gotta show them what they want. I agree. It can be hard, no doubt about it, how you want to look at it. But I think if we get talk about wrapping, if you're wrapping something from your trailer or van or truck or whatever, I think it shows that you're in the business
It's a
and you want to
billboard.
be in the business. Yeah. And when we switched over to our Blingle colors and we had to rewrap all of our trailers, right? And we were getting calls in January on, hey, can you take our stuff down and take us over type thing, because it was standing out so
Oh
much,
yeah,
so it's really worked really well.
cool, man. What other? I'm out of questions over here.
Okay.
I'm about to edit some of this. It's gonna look like a live interview on Wednesday. But
Yeah, it's all good.
any kind of teasing things or any kind of like, I got this up and coming. I got this new product coming out or something cool. Anything new?
Well, I said, if you're talking about product from Lights for Christmas, I would say some of the cool things that I'm really proud of is some of our wire decor pieces, because they're outdoor rated.
What is this? The
They're
one that has snowflakes and stuff?
It's the snowflakes, the Halloween, the patriotic, but it's snowflake stuff, the leg lamp, all that. But the cost is beating everybody. I hate to bring the cost up, but I did a really good job of being very competitive in the market. Now,
We
and
bought
then
from you last year, so yeah, I agree.
yeah, so there's that, and I'm going to have a booth at the huge convention over in
Oh, you'll be there.
Nashville next month. Yep, so I'll be
So
there as
if you
well.
want to
So
see Mike Marlow, go. Where is it at this year?
it's in the Gaylord in Nashville.
Wasn't it?
So
Wasn't it in Nashville last year too?
I think it's always in Nashville,
Oh,
to be
okay.
honest with you.
Yeah, it was at the Gaylord last year. Yeah, so go to the Gaylord. When is that? That's next month, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the 23rd to the 25th of August.
Okay.
So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
And you're not going to be the only Christmas person. There's going to be a lot of Christmas
No,
people there.
I think I've seen Donovan's next door to me. There's Novelty Lights, American Lighting. There's a couple other companies.
I mean, for a Christmas light, guys, it really kind of merges into pressure washing and
It does.
landscape lighting and even
It's an
more than that.
added sales. I think in business, as any entrepreneur or small business, you always have to explore other revenue channels, because there's always pitfalls of our cash flow that we need to kind of accomplish and fix up.
So that's where someone can go meet you in person if they say, "Man, I just want to
Yeah.
meet that guy." That's where you can meet August in the
I,
huge
I welcome it
convention.
to stop by and have a conversation, or they can get a hold of me. Just look up Mike Marlow Christmas Lights and you'll find me. And
Mike
just
Marlow
send me
Christmas lights, light for Christmas.
that.
No more heroes. Now it's Blingle.
Yeah,
If you
Blingo,
call
yeah.
Blingo number, does it go to your cell phone? How's it work?
No, it does not. It goes to a call center. Actually.
It goes to a call center.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure somebody always picked up the phone.
Yeah.